Hey y'all, I'm Jessi Harry and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. I do food related content around here, grocery hauls, what's for dinners, easy recipes, things like that. So if you're like that, make sure to hit the subscribe button. This video is a what's for dinner. We have 3 easy, kind of like one pan recipes. Super easy, minimal ingredients, things like that. So if you like that kind of thing, stay tuned. Keep on watching. All right, so for tonight's dinner, I'm making a chicken teriyaki casserole. I will have a recipe linked below, but I don't follow that recipe. That's just what I base this off of. I'm doing things a little bit easier in the recipe. It says you make your own sauce. I'm not doing that. I'm going to use some sauce that I had in my fridge. A couple of other changes, yada, yada, yada. You can either follow along with what I do in the video, or you can just use the recipe below. It's up to you. So for this chicken teriyaki casserole, we've got 2 chicken breasts. They're not very big, but you know, some already cooked rice. I don't think I'm going to use all this rice. It's just what I cooked up this morning, so I didn't want it to be hot when I put it in the casserole. I don't think it really matters. It was just one step that I could do this morning when I got up. I wouldn't have to do it later. So, dealer's choice. You are going to warm that up. Some green onions. This isn't in the recipe at all. I'm just going to use this to top my casserole with because I love green onions, if you're new here. Some broccoli stir fry frozen. Just 1 bag. Some soy sauce. Some sweet ginger teriyaki sauce. Like I said, I had this in the refrigerator. And I wasn't going to use it for anything, so I figured, you know what, we'll just do this recipe and I'll use the rest of this and it'll be good. And then some butter. So we're going to get the chicken cooking. Alright, so first things first, we're going to preheat the oven to 350. Let that get going. Alright, so first things first was the oven preheating. Up next, we're going to spray down this casserole dish with some spray. And then I'm going to take my yummy chicken breast that I got over here. And pop it in there. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to take this teriyaki sauce. I think the recipe says to put a cup over it. Just going to drizzle some on top, because we want some for the actual casserole, for the rice and all that stuff. Alright, and once our oven is preheated, we will slide this bad boy in. Alright, so the oven is preheated to 350. And before I slide this in, I'm going to put my meat thermometer in it. Because, honestly, I will dry chicken out so fast. So we're just going to slide this in there. And then you just set this off to the side. If you don't have one of these and you dry out your meat a lot, buy one. You can get them off Amazon. They're not very expensive. Anyways, we're going to slide this in. Almost dropped that. There we go. And then basically, I don't have to set a timer. This will go off. You can't really see. Oh, it looks all weird. Does it? Okay, so when it reaches 165, if you can see that, it'll beep at me and tell me that my chicken is ready. And then I will pull it out. All right, so while we're waiting for that chicken to cook, I'm going to cut up some of these. So let's get started on that. All right, so I washed these in my sink. Now I'm just taking some paper towels. I'm just going to apparently dismember them. Clean them. Some of like the bottom stuff off that's kind of weird. All right. I guess I need a knife, don't I? All right. Got a big old knife. And then I'm just gonna, you can also use kitchen scissors. I like to do that a lot too. Use some kitchen shears if you have them. If you don't, you should get some. They're really good for all sorts of things. Just make sure that everyone knows their kitchen shears and don't, you know, try and use them to open packages or whatever else, which I am, so you can see, cutting up the entire green onion. I like the top, I like the bottom, I like it all. I love green onion. If you don't like green onion, you can omit this step, but I really like green onion. If you are already a subscriber and watch my videos, especially like my grocery hauls, you know I basically buy green onions all the time. I really should just grow them. But I'm not good at growing things. My husband is. I'm not. They're like 89 cents at the store. You know, herbs, you know, like basil and all that stuff. That's the stuff you want to grow. That's the stuff you want to grow. Because I don't know about where y'all live, but it's really expensive where I am to get it. Okay, well, it's not like really expensive, but I don't want to pay $3 for 5 basil leaves. You can get the freeze-dried kind, or the kind that like you get the water on and they regenerate or whatever. But even those are kind of pricey. I just want to, you know, it's much nicer to like go outside and get myself some basil. So there you go. Delicious green onions. We're going to put that in the fridge for now. All right, so the chicken's getting close to being done. So I'm going to put these in the microwave and get them cooked up so I can mix them with the rice. And we can put them all together in the casserole dish. So let's see. Here's my microwave. Put it in there. Let's see. Cook time. And there we go. All right. So, real talk. Teriyaki sauce burned to my pan. See that? It burned onto my pan. So, don't do that. Don't cook your chicken like that. Probably would have been better if I would have maybe, I don't know, cooked it in a pan. Ooh, cooked it in an Instant Pot. If I'd pressure cook that. But I'm going to have to clean this pan before I can make the rest of the casserole, because my other pan is in the refrigerator from the leftover casserole from the night before. So, ooh. Anyways, I'm going to get this cleaned and I'll be back. Alright, so there we go. Chicken's decently shredded. It's not a ton, but I mean, we're going to put this in a casserole, and so I feel like it does not need a ton, especially since I'm only feeding 4 people. So I'm gonna get that casserole dish washed out and be back. So first things first, I'm going to add, I don't know why I keep saying first things first, we're on like step 7, who knows. I'm gonna dump those veggies in there. And you're supposed to use the juice, like the teriyaki sauce, from that was still left in the pan, but of course we know that didn't happen because it all had to be poured out, so I'm just gonna drizzle some of this on there real quick. Let's see, it's about half a cup. So there's about a cup. Let's see. It's about 2 cups. So that's about 3 cups of rice right there, of cooked rice. So, I'm going to add just a little bit of soy sauce. Let's see, that's about a tablespoon. Add about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to add some more teriyaki sauce. All right, so 50 million years later, I got all that stuff off. So we're gonna spray the pan again. Don't make the mistake that I did. Cook your chicken in like the pressure cooker or cut it up into little chunks. I'm not sure. What I would have probably done was just cooked it, like baked it with just some salt and pepper and not the teriyaki seasoning, and then shredded it up and added the teriyaki seasoning like you saw me do. That would have been easier. Don't add teriyaki seasoning and just, or sauce, and just put it in the oven. I should have known with the sugar in there that it would burn, but whatever. Smooth it out. If you want more veggies, I would add like another, I normally like to do another thing of broccoli with this. But I was also trying not to make like a million servings of it, because I have a bad habit of doing that. Now, I'm going to add just a little bit of butter on top because I don't want the rice to dry out as it's baking and like reheating back up. And plus, they put butter in fried rice, so, you know, super authentic. And then I'm not going to add anything else to it. We'll have the teriyaki and soy sauce if someone wants to add more of that to it. But I'm going to put this in my oven. All right, so I put it in the oven, and then I realized I didn't want it to dry out. I should probably cover it in foil. So I pulled it out, covered it in foil, and now we're going to leave it in there for 15 minutes. So, yeah. All right. So, moment of truth.
Have this one tomorrow.
Let's see how it looks. Let's see if it is warm enough. It is warm enough.
Looks good.
Oh, we need a bigger spoon. Also, in case you're interested, we have lots of toppings. We've got the green onions, some red pepper flakes for extra spiciness, some sriracha for extra spiciness, and then the soy sauce and the teriyaki sauce if you would like it to be extra teriyaki. Alright, so we're going to get it plated up. Alright. So, let's get some on the plate. And I am definitely going to sprinkle plenty of green onions on mine. And lots of red pepper flakes, because I like it spicy. And there we go. Alright, so here it is. I'm actually going to do a little taste test. I did add some more teriyaki sauce to it. That is good. Very spicy with the red pepper flakes, but very yummy. And very easy if I had not burned my pan. So do my tips. Don't put teriyaki sauce in the chicken in the pan. But yeah, you should definitely try this. It was really easy. You could even use just like one big chicken breast in there. This actually has like a lot more chicken than like even I would normally use, but I was trying to use up the last bit of some frozen stuff that I had, so that's what we have. But definitely try this easy, yummy recipe. All right, so tonight we're making baked ziti, because I'm not using ziti noodles. I'm using what I had on hand, which is these medium shell noodles. So it's medium shell noodle baked. But anyways, so we're gonna use these noodles instead of ziti. You can use ziti if you want to. We've got some mozzarella cheese, a half of a yellow onion cooked, a pound of ground beef, which is still halfway frozen. I don't know why it's taking forever, but we're just gonna go ahead and start cooking it. Creamy Alfredo, some tomato, basil, and garlic sauce. You can use whatever kind of Alfredo and spaghetti sauce you want. This is from Aldi. This is what I use. Some minced garlic, and then salt and pepper. So I actually got this recipe from another What's for Dinner video, Live That Mama Life. I will actually link her video down below, so you can check that out and see how she made it. I'm going to do it just a little bit differently, obviously with the noodles and a few other things, but if you want to see the original, then you can go and watch hers. But let's get this started. All right, so I've got my oven and it's preheating to 350, and then I've got a pot of water back here. We're going to go ahead and let's turn the front on. I do that all the time. Turn it on high, get that water boiling so we can get the pasta going, and I'm going to get the meat in here and get it start cooking because it's going to take a little bit because it's still frozen. Alright, so since this isn't a non-stick, I'm just going to give it a little spray. Now I'm just going to plop this in here. We're going to add in the onions with some garlic. I'm just going to do that much. Looks good. And then some salt and pepper to taste, so that can all cook with the meat as it's browning. Alright, now we'll come back when it's brown. Alright, so we got some boiling water. Gonna toss the noodles. Don't drop the bag in there, kids. And some more, so I want to cook about 8 ounces. Now what I just put in was probably only like 4, so looks good. There we go. Alright, we'll let those cook till they're al dente. Check this meat over here. Alright, so my noodles are done and I've drained them. They're al dente, which I recommend when you are putting pasta in a casserole. So I'm going to take my jar of Alfredo sauce and add it right into there. I'm just going to mix it around. And I'm going to let that sit while I deal with draining the grease from the meat, which I'm going to bring over here, show you. So it's good and ready. So I'm going to drain off that grease and assemble my casserole. Alright, so the meat is cooked and degreased. And now I'm going to add the jar of spaghetti sauce. Get that mixed together. Alright, now we're going to get it all assembled. Alright, so we got our casserole dish. We're going to spray it with some cooking spray so the pasta does not stick to it. I'm going to add in some mozzarella. I think it says like 2 cups, but I'm not going to measure that. Just going to put some mozzarella on top. What looks good. If you feel like measuring, then you measure. But I'm not going to dirty up a measuring cup for some cheese. Alright, I'm going to take this away to the oven. Alright, so we're going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And I'm going to check it, but basically you just want your cheese to be nice and melted. Alright, so alongside the pasta tonight, we're going to have a salad. Just like a simple side salad. Use the lettuce from last week that we didn't use because I always buy lettuce with such high hopes that we'll eat all of it. And if I don't cut it up on Sunday, we don't eat like any of it. Sometimes if I cut it up on Sunday, we still don't eat any of it. My husband had a salad for lunch today, so it inspired me to possibly have a salad for dinner tonight. And there goes the timer for the pasta, so I'm going to go get that. I'll be back. Alright, so the pasta bake was not done. The cheese was melted, but not all the way gooey melted, and I like it to be like a little brown on the top, so I put it in for 10 more minutes. So hopefully, once that's done, it'll be done, and we can have dinner, because I'm starving. Alright, here she is out of the oven. Ooh. Good and cheesy. So I'm going to get this plated up and give it a taste. Piece of pasta. And there we go. All right. So there she is. Tastes fantastic. So I'm going to dig into this, and you should make it and do the same. All right, so verdict. Plate is clean. Dinner was delicious. Very simple, but very, very good. So I'm going to have to try it. Like I said, I'm going to link Living That Mama Life's video below, and you can go to her video and see how she made it too if you'd like to see, but otherwise you should make this recipe. Alright, so our last dinner is an all-in-one pork chop and hash brown potato bake. So we've got some bone-in pork chops, some mild cheddar, some hash browns, some Cajun seasoning, cream of mushroom, a can of French fried onions, sour cream, some parsley, black pepper, olive oil, and evaporated milk. So we're going to get these pork chops going. So of course, first things first, we're going to add some oil to our pan, let it get nice and hot. Once it's hot, we're just putting on the pork chops. They are currently unseasoned. Cook them for about, 3 to 5 minutes on one side, flip them over. You're just wanting to sear them right now. Let those cook, and now once those are seared, you're going to put on a little Cajun seasoning, or you can use seasoned salt, whichever one you prefer. I prefer Cajun seasoning because I like a little kick to my food. Now, as you can see, these aren't done. They're just seared. They're going to cook the rest of the way in the actual casserole. All right, so now I'm taking the cream of mushroom and mixing that with the evaporated milk. Or you can use regular milk. I don't keep regular milk on hand, so I use evaporated milk. The sour cream, the pepper, parsley, and Cajun seasoning or seasoned salt, whichever you prefer, and we're going to mix that all together. Of course, the recipe link will be below if you want to see the actual measurements and directions for this recipe, just FYI. Alright, so now that we've got that mixed up, I'm adding in half of the can of the French fried onions, probably a little bit more than half, about 3/4, and the cheese. I'm going to get all that mixed together. And then on top of that, we're tossing in our hash browns, which I have defrosted, that they are not frozen, they have been defrosted. We're going to get all those added to there. It was almost the entire bag, just a little bit left over. And we're going to get that mixed up really well. And now all that's good and mixed up, we're taking our casserole dish, which I've sprayed down with some cooking spray. We're going to put all that mixture into the pan. And spread it out. You can see my dogs back there. Wish that they could have a little potato bake. They cannot. We're going to get it all spread out though. Now that that's done, I'm going to take my pork chops and just top the casserole with them. Then we're going to put on a little tin foil. I'm going to throw it in the oven, which is at 350, and we're going to cook it for about an hour and a half. Get those pork chops all the way cooked through. I'm just kind of touching them, make sure that they're done. You can also use a meat thermometer, but a lot of times you can kind of feel it with meat. So now I'm topping with the rest of the French fried onions. The recipe also calls for more cheese on top. I feel like it had enough cheese. There is no need for more cheese on top of my pork chops. If you want more cheese, you do you. Put it on there. But I just added the French fried onions, kind of got them spread out. We put the tin foil back on, and I put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. Let those French fried onions get a little golden. And here it is, all done and hot. Whew, potatoes are hot. I know that sounds very odd, but the casserole itself took forever to cool down. But doesn't this look yummy? So we're going to get it plated up. We've got a pork chop, of course, some of the potato bake, and so you can see it's steaming, and the casserole has been sitting there for a little bit. Whew, let it cool down before you eat any of it. And then I just made some green beans to go on the side. And here it is. So those green beans I just cooked in some chicken broth and minced onion, a little salt and pepper. Like them really simple and basic. And there's that pork chop. It was so tender after being cooked in the oven for that long. I honestly thought that it might come out a little tough because if you cook pork for too long, but it was fall apart tender. And hash brown casserole, really good as well. It was a lot softer consistency than I thought it would be, but very delicious and very fallish, so you got to try it.
Alright, well, I hope that you liked today's video. If you do, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and stay tuned. I think my next video will be a crock pot appetizer and Halloween charcuterie board video, and that should be coming up in the next couple days. And then I think I should have a grocery haul, so you got to make sure you're subscribed, put on those notification bells so you don't miss any of that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!